Thank you for joining us today for this panel discussion on managing privacy and security needs with GIS. My name is Pete Schreiber, and I'll be the moderator for this session. I'm the managing attorney for intellectual property matters in the Contracts and Legal Department, and I've been with the company for 30 years now. And I've witnessed some amazing advancements in Esri's technology in that time period, including what we'll be discussing today. I have the honor of working with two of our panelists and subject matter experts on a regular basis. And I'm pleased to introduce my colleagues, Robert Jensen and Michael Young. Gentlemen, welcome to the panel discussion. Robert, please introduce yourself and what role at Esri is.
Hello, everyone. My name is Robert Jensen, and I'm a product manager at Esri. I have responsibilities for geocoding, routing, and base map capabilities across all Esri offerings. This includes platform as a service, software as a service, desktop, enterprise, mobile, on-premises, and even offline. I've been working at Esri for over 20 years now, with some time spent in professional services, software development, as well as online content prior to my current role.
Great, thanks, Robert. Michael, please introduce yourself.
Yes, I'm Michael Young. I'm Esri's Chief Information Security Officer, also known as a CISO for our products. I lead up the software security and privacy team that is responsible for incident response, building privacy and security into our products, and compliance such as FedRAMP, GDPR, and HIPAA. Out of the three of us on this panel, I'm the newbie with only 15 years at Esri. I'm honored to work with Pete and Robert on a regular basis, taking on challenges to make the world a better place as part of our job.
Very good, thank you guys. So let's begin, let me begin by setting the stage for this discussion by informing our audience that Esri is introducing two new exciting technological advancements that will become the best of breed in the GIS industry and improve the security and privacy compliance posture for the health industry who use ArcGIS. The technological advancements include Geo Blockchain authentication of map-related data and HIPAA-aligned Geocoding. We'll start with Geo Blockchain. The power of blockchain technology is that it provides trust, immutability, and transparency to those users granted access to the blockchain. Esri has recently filed patent protection on a new invention that provides a tool for the combination and integration of GIS with blockchain technology. This new Geo Blockchain, or GBC tool, can be used to support the analysis of spatiotemporal trends of blockchain transactions via geospatially enabled blockchains. So for example, with Geo Blockchain technology, an authorized user with a smartphone can authenticate all locations along a supply chain where COVID vaccines pass through, which can be matched with a vaccination site, a doctor's office, or a pharmacy location where the vaccine was ultimately administered to the patient. This is just one of many possible use cases with the health industry. More information on Esri's patent pending Geo Blockchain technology will be released in the upcoming months. We'll now shift to HIPAA-aligned Geocoding and have a discussion on that new service. So Rob, let me start with you. What was the industry problem that you were trying to solve with this new technology?
Thanks, Pete. Great question. We are solving the issue of using a cloud-hosted service to process sensitive information in a cost-effective manner. Now, while the internet provides the option for everyone in healthcare to make use of cloud-hosted services, we all want the internet to be secure so that we can be comfortable when using it to process sensitive information. So the first opportunity is perception. There's always been a concern over cloud security, and that's a genuine concern. And Esri has built our geocoding system to meet this need. The second opportunity is financial. The concern over building and hosting a secure enterprise system with my own data in my own office, that's real. And Esri has set forth to provide an option that is more cost-effective. This option allows everyone to pay as you go, and this provides cost certainty because it's consumption-based. This is well suited for those who use geocoding occasionally, or those who work on research projects. We believe that this approach has met the moment.
I say. And Michael, can an organization enter into a HIPAA business associate agreement also known as a BAA, with Esri for specific ArcGIS Online subscription?
Yes, and this is something new. Esri offers qualified companies or their suppliers a BAA that covers in-scope ArcGIS Online services and associated maintenance. Esri's BAA may be requested through your account manager. This will apply to most public health organizations, hospitals, health insurance companies, and the like. However, I'd like to note that U.S. federal agencies and defense organizations are not qualified for a BAA at this time until we have a FedRAMP moderate authorization for ArcGIS Online, which is on our roadmap for 2022.
Good. And just to follow up, will Esri agree to use their organization's BAA instead?
No, we do not. And the reason being is that Esri can't modify the HIPAA BAA because ArcGIS Online is a multi-tenant software as a service offering that is consistent for all customers. We must follow the same procedures for everyone. To minimize issues, we have already reviewed and incorporated input from BAAs of customers and fellow mid to large SaaS providers. If a customer must utilize their own BAA or requires significant customization of Esri's BAA, we recommend that the customer engage our professional services team to consider their specialized needs outside of ArcGIS Online, such as with an on-premise deployment of ArcGIS Enterprise.
Good to know. Back to Rob for a second. Rob, how did your team go about building this new HIPAA-aligned geocoding service? What was involved?
Well, Pete, there was a lot of hard work involved in this. We did a lot of research and we collaborated with numerous colleagues across the company. For example, we worked very closely with our friends on the security team, including Michael, and our friends in dev operations to find materials that are rated as highly secure so we could build a service that works as expected and meets the needs of our users. We also worked with our good friends in legal, including Pete, to build workflows and processes and have them vetted so that we know that we are treating sensitive information with the respect that it is due.
Yeah, and that's been a really key point of this collaborative effort. Michael, back to BAA for a second. Does BAA with Esri indicate an organization is in alignment with HIPAA and the HITECH Act?
Actually, no, not by itself. HIPAA compliance involves several responsibilities for the covered entity, the health organization working with sensitive data. By offering a BAA, Esri helps support your HIPAA compliance, but using Esri services does not on its own achieve it. Customers are responsible for ensuring that they have an adequate compliance program and internal processes in place, and that their particular use of Esri services aligns with HIPAA and the HITECH Act. It's more than the software and services. It's a holistic process to prevent a privacy breach.
So Esri can't deliver just a silver bullet. It is a team effort with the client to make all of this come together holistically.
Absolutely.
Okay. And then, Michael, also, can an organization assess the risk of its ArcGIS Online configuration?
Yes, and we have a few ways to handle this. First, customers can obtain our FedRAMP annual third-party assessment report under a non-disclosure agreement, an NDA. Second, customers can implement security testing under the terms of an Esri Security Assessment Agreement, an SAA, to perform technical validation of our offering, such as scans and otherwise. Lastly, we have created the ArcGIS Online Security Advisor tool that an organization administrator can access to have a red, yellow, green summary at the tips of their fingers at any time, available within the ArcGIS Trust Center.
Great. I'm sure our audience is kind of curious about what is the ArcGIS Trust Center. Could you elaborate a little bit more on that?
Yeah, we've had it out there for a few years now. It's become a one-stop shop for obtaining security, privacy, and compliance information about ArcGIS. In addition to the advisor tool, we have extensive white papers discussing best practices, such as our load tracking paper that provides high-level architectural guidance down to specific configuration setting recommendations. We also post security alerts and blogs of interest to the Trust Center, such as HIPAA guidance in the early days of the pandemic. Look for a HIPAA section in the privacy portion of the site later this year as we expand ArcGIS services covered underneath this regulation.
Great. So our audience should realize that the ArcGIS Trust Center is there, and it's got valuable information that you'll want to check in on numerous times throughout the year to see what's going on. Rob, let me switch over back to you for a second. What is meant by HIPAA-aligned geocoding, and how does that methodology maintain privacy in a PHI, PII way?
Thank you, Pete. So being in alignment with HIPAA means that Esri's geocoding service has the ability to identify PHI as well as PII, and it has the knowledge to handle it with care. Geocoding is the act of finding patterns that associates addresses with locations. And this is, where Esri has expanded on our already world-class expertise to add pattern detection for PHI and PII as well. Now, Esri's methodology uses automated workflows and processes to restrict the presence of sensitive information in our records, and further to severely limit the access to that system that processes those service requests.
Very good. Could you expand a little bit more on, for our audience, what are the features, attributes, and benefits of Esri's HIPAA-aligned geocoding service? What's in it for them?
Happy to do so, because there is lots of stuff in place for our target audience. So we set out to improve the security hardening of the ArcGIS World Geocoding service in order to best handle PHI and PII data. As Michael mentioned earlier, this effort tracks with our move up to the FedRAMP moderate compliance status. So there are three attributes that Esri's methodology targets. The first is the filtering of PII and PHI from the requests to the geocoding service. In other words, we deliberately separate out that PII and PHI data. The second is the limited viewing of log files. So we restrict those who can view the log files, how long those log files exist. And finally, the third is we built a secure area with limited access to Esri employees. Those employees who do have access have been provided with all of the required trainings. Combined together, these three benefits help the user with the knowledge that Esri has safety controls in place for PHI and PII data, and how that is processed by the service and by Esri as a whole.
Great. I think the audience is going to be impressed that Esri has really thought through this and given it a lot of thought, careful thought in this. So, Michael, picking up on that point, what support and maintenance is available with Esri's online BAA?
Yes, as a US-based regulatory requirement for electronic private health information, or EPHI, customers signing a BAA will initially utilize our United States persons only support. This may be expanded to standard global support in the future based on demand. Under standard conditions, both operators and customer support resources do not view ArcGIS Online customer datasets. If a customer determines they need Esri support assistance to access, download, or view the information related to an ArcGIS Online subscription covered by a BAA, the pre-identified customer privacy resource will be contacted by Esri for authorization of the access.
Good. That should give our audience a little bit more comfort and assurance that we're handling their data in the proper fashion.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And Rob, one final question for you, and kind of picking up on what Esty and Jack were talking about. Does it monetize the PHI and PII data that's being processed in our HIPAA-aligned geocoding service?
Well, Pete, I'm very happy to say that the answer is an unqualified no. Unlike so many companies in big tech, Esri does not monetize the data in our systems. Esri does not sell information to third parties. Frankly, our value proposition has always been that your data is your data. In essence, privacy is a core value at Esri. And that's one of the biggest differentiators for users of Esri's HIPAA-aligned geocoding services. The moment we all live in today requires respect for privacy, and Esri has met that moment.
Yeah, I think, Rob, I think that point will really resonate with this audience. You know, every day in the news, we read about how other monetizing data and so forth, and it's just not in our DNA. So thank you very much. Well, I wanted to take this opportunity to thank both Rob and Michael for sharing their insights with us and our audience today into these exciting new Esri technological advances.